everybody, and welcome back to the Classic Quest podcast. It's your boy HSR.
It's your boy Chris Crow.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, my apologies. It just seems so, bland right now. You're just like, hi.
Well, yeah, that's how I start every one of them. Go on, please.
Okay, and I will be your lady friend, Bonnie.
See, look at the pep. Look at the optimism.
Relax
Look at the
yourself.
energy.
So it's episode 34. And Chris, why don't you tell the fine folk out there what album we are doing tonight?
Well, for this Classic Quest album review, we decided to go with Kanye West's album, The College Dropout, Explicit.
Yes, right, because that part was necessary. I suppose
It could be the toned down version.
I mean, I guess the clean version is an alternative that you could go through. So instead of hearing fuck, you'd hear, because that's basically what, I don't know.
Well, actually, in the album, they bleeped out, but kind of like re-altered the words, so it's like robotic, kind of meshed together, chopped and screwed.
Sure.
For the swear words, so.
Anyway, I listen to the one with cussing because I like to listen to the versions with cussing when I can get to them because I find it better that way.
This came out on February 10th, 2004? Well, I was going to say 2014. Wait.
Yeah, it was. I was in high school back then. I remember when this dropped. I remember when Kanye popped off and whatnot. So
This took years to make, though. It was like 3 or 4 years.
that may be true. I still remember when Kanye popped and whatnot. I remember when Jesus Walks was a hit. I remember the follow-up album, and pretty much most of Kanye's career is in the scope of stuff I've either, like I'd say, I've known about much of it. I've never listened to a single Kanye album before now. And on it, well, that's not true. I've dabbled with My Dark Twisted Fantasy because it's a very fascinating album, actually, and you should check it out. No matter
But
what,
this was like his very first album.
yeah, but it was like back in the era when I didn't have easy access to music, and then I knew Jesus Walks, and that was the end of what I knew back then. And then as time went on, I've listened to multiple songs off this album, like all the singles, but I just kind of ignored Kanye like a hater, like everyone else, because that's what haters do. Then one day I stopped being a hater and I started listening to Kanye West, and I was like, oh, the guy's not quite the way the media makes him sound. And then people just kept saying, go check out his music, go check out his music. I promise, if you check out his music, go check out the albums.
Well, he has to have something to back up that ego of his.
Of
So,
course.
he obviously does something right.
So yeah, I thought it would be cool to, in the mix of all these other classics, we can go to something that's a little more, a classic maybe I slept on that I have no excuse for, Kanye West, The College Dropout. So I really wanted to do this album and start off a little bit of the Kanye run. And over the course of the next year or two, I want to go through more of his albums because there's something about the way this guy puts an album together that I thought was interesting. At least this album was really interesting. So all I can say is I've kind of, as time's gone on over the last couple of years, come to appreciate Kanye's music more. Like, I just find more and more of his singles are interesting. But to date, I've never been the biggest Kanye fan, and I've never listened to a full album really before this moment, we'll say. What about you folk?
I mean, I've heard, his songs, whatever played on the radio or whatever, from back in the day. I listened to Gold Digger. I mean, I had that one, but, I mean, who didn't?
Right.
But, yeah, for me, I've never really, delved into it, and I was kind of hesitant. I was like, he's such, I don't know. He comes off like such a arrogant guy, and so, yeah, I don't know. It was interesting, actually, getting into, his album and understanding, what he had gone through, and that he used to be just a producer, and then he, and his struggles to go from producing to album, making his own album and being a rapper himself. So it's interesting. It's a whole new sound.
Nice. I stumbled upon Kanye from multiple songs. 808s and Heartbreak album. I had some songs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of stopped listening around there.
Well, it's not that exact album. I'm just saying, I know that there's a song off of that album. I know of multiple songs that I've heard from him, Gold Digger as well. But again, I've never really been the type to want to listen to Kanye. I don't know why. I don't really have an excuse why. Please don't kill me for that, guys. But appealing to me, I guess. That's really mostly what it was. So for me as well, this is the first time I'm running through a full Kanye album.
I totally lied. I just remembered I bought Graduation when it came out, and I did listen to that in full, but I wasn't ready for it, so I only liked a few of the songs off of it. Yeah, mostly the singles. But unfortunate, it was a mistake. I kind of want to listen to that again now. But yeah, I actually owned that album at one point. It came out. It was non-plastic.
They're a series, but do they connect though? Like in terms of?
I guess we can find that out by going through our classic quest of album reviews, where we in-depth analyze them track by track, and we could do that.
Making it clear for everybody though.
Just in case you didn't know.
If you don't care about anything in particular, feel free to hit the show more and show the description, or I should have said this sooner, and you'll be able to jump ahead to any particular song, or maybe there's a part of the album you don't like or whatever, or we get off on a tangent. It happens, life goes on. Yeah, whatever. So what did you guys think of the idea of the title and this bear man Kanye presents on the cover?
I like the mascot. I like the bear mascot. It's really cute. It's really, it's just you can't help but not like it. I like how the bear doesn't look happy. It looks kind of broken a little bit. So usually mascots kind of look happy. So this is like a different type of feel.
Yeah.
And I like how he represented the College Dropout as the mascot, in terms of like, we're kind of hiding something behind like a suit or like a mask, and we all have something to hold. So it was really cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool idea for him to be dressed as the mascot. He's like a mascot for college dropouts. So I thought that was kind of like maybe like an interesting twist. And the fact that he is a college dropout and decided to go on and do what he needed to do and live his life without finishing college. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't even go to college or don't even graduate high school. So, I mean, this is to show that you can still be successful. You don't necessarily need that education. It can be helpful. But yeah.
So yeah, because I dropped out of university because I realized that had I continued, it would have been a waste of time for me, at least. I wasn't interested in conforming into a societal mold of complacency and normalcy, and that's all I saw going on around me. I wanted to be special still, so I dropped out of university, and then I made a lot of mistakes, but after life grew up and stuff, it's interesting how you can still find your own way and just kind of get around the main path, which is I think a lot of what he wanted to do with this album after listening to it. But when you just see something like the College Dropout and you know it's a guy who just dropped an album, it really does sell. Hey, look, I'm like all those guys in Silicon Valley who dropped out of college and are the CEOs. I'm a boss and all that. Like, it just screams like you don't need university and whatnot. And I'm not saying that university's in and of itself a bad thing, but there are a lot of people who go for the sake of going, and that is a bad thing. Anyway, intro.
Let's check it out.
The members was wondering, could you do a little song, something beautiful?
What a start! Like,
it is a weird voice.
So apparently it is comedian DeRay Davis doing a Bernie Mac impression, opening up this album as like the principal or whatever. Like, hey Kanye, come do something for the kids, something smiley, joyful, good
Speak
stuff.
up at like the podium.
Yeah.
And I guess in the scene of this, it's Kanye West is at graduation and he's about to graduate, so he's kind of almost doing like a valedictorian speech of sorts because he's smart. He's letting you know. I like this. I really do. I think it's a clever way to start this album, and I mean, by itself, it doesn't mean a lot, but in the scope of the album, it really, really fits well, and it is kind of fun, so I give it a 4.
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I gave it a 3. I thought it wouldn't be something that I would go back to that much. It's kind of annoying. I mean, just like the voice and just how he was talking. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really like go back to it, even though it was short, but yeah.
Nice. I give it a 4 on 5. Actually, a 4.5 on 5. My bad. Because I really like how the intro really sets the album. Exactly. I like how it's kind of like it not only does it lead in for the next song, it leads up for the next song. So that's one.
But
that's
it's like
one.
it's like the opening.
does.
It's like the opening credits to like this movie. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's like one of those cinematic movies.
Exactly. And for all the times Chris has described shit as scenes in a movie, I realized that with this intro, it's not aimless. It's like this guy's. It's not even.
Well, yeah,
Kanye,
I mean, it's telling
right?
a story.
You know what I
it's,
got?
it's not Kanye.
You know
it's
what I
just
got?
somebody else playing the character in this story Kanye has put together.
You know
for
the
us.
movie Accepted?
No.
Oh
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
It's a bunch
Yeah.
of college,
Yeah, it
high
wasn't a
school,
great movie.
university dropouts, and I kind of got that type of feel when I first heard this part. So yeah, I gave it a 4.5 on 5. I think it really does well.
You know what, Chris? We don't care.
Ooh.
For sitting your ass at home, so we forced to sell crack, rap, and get a job.
Mr. West, this is a great song. Like, you just gotta picture it. So Kanye's about to spit to the school kids, right? And instead of doing the safe thing, he goes in an anthem for the kids who are doing what they gotta do to sell drugs to get by, a reflection of his childhood, his reality.
Yep.
And it's a really fucking great song, honestly, almost like about the kids. Like, I love the chorus. I just wasn't supposed to make it past 25, but the joke's on you, we still alive. Like, I have to say, it's not even like the best delivery, right? Like, Kanye isn't exactly at his prime yet in terms of how he raps, and it's a little cute almost, like when Kanye really goes in and it sounds off. That's the right word in some places, but
Right.
the passion and the energy behind it completely complement that. And then, like, lyrically, I was just blown away.
Well, I mean, the whole thing, being alive past 25, like that, there was a survey done, like for like the people in like that.
In the 80s.
Yeah, for like
Yeah.
the people in like the
Black-
area of the
On
black
average,
community.
25 years old, you would either be killed,
or incarcerated.
or
Drugs, whatever.
so
I mean,
like,
so
I
sucks.
mean, I get where he's coming from, but just when you hear it, you just hear those words even without the context, right? It's just a powerful thing. It's like, this is basically the first thing he's saying. Like, yeah, we understand. Like, one of the first lines in the verse is like how I had to look up to the dope man because he's the only one who wasn't broke, man.
Well, I want to bring light on, as somebody who doesn't come from that reality, it also kind of speaks a lot of volume as well. Like, I didn't know there was a survey done in the 80s. You know what I mean? I didn't know that 25 was that average. So
crazy, though, when
it's
you think about
not only
it.
like he's kind of rubbing it in your face that like I made it past 25. I made it out of the ghetto. I made it out of the.
But
He's also.
Yeah, go on.
He's also like informing people like this is actually a thing. Like, you know, people do die at 25, and this like we have such
24.
like, you know, 24, and our lifespans
And
aren't.
it's just like he's also dropped some like really valid criticisms on how like the school programs and shit, like, you know, the kids gonna act a fool when you stop the programs for after schools, and the DCFS, some of them dyslexic, their favorite 50 Cent song is 12 Questions. Because it's 21 questions backwards. I was just like, oh shit. It's like you can see, like, instantly, as much as this guy's an arrogant egotist in the image of who Kanye is or whatever, when you really listen to, like, this song here alone.
It's like a public message, kind of.
And it's powerful. Like, it's got this, like, level of intelligence crypted in where it's his reality mixed with his opinions and his ideas to really almost become an anthem for the environment that he comes from and whatnot.
Well,
and the
there
music
was-
is so celebratory, right?
There
The
was a
music-
wave of like after school programs, like if we're talking about it, that work. Even for me, I kind of saw a lot of after school programs shut down. Just to go to reach out as far as like home ec at my high school.
Yeah, all
like
that crap's
that was
Stuff's
all
just getting
gone.
cut,
You know,
yeah.
like it was just
my
cut.
high
and-
school had like none of that business. It was just basic education.
Well, it had it. I think I was in like, for Montreal, we call it secondary 2. I guess for like everyone else, it's grade 8. As I go into grade 9, boom, it's like gone.
And the
So-
thing is then there's all the statistics that show that when you cut the after school funding to those programs,
Well, I
the
mean,
kids
it's gonna.
are more likely to end up having bad things happen in their lives
Yeah.
because anyway. So it's just the fact that Kanye took this platform at the beginning to really, instead of being a gangster or a thug or anything like that, instead of being the arrogant player that one would expect with Kanye, right? Instead of all of that, you get this really like, wow, that is just not how I was expecting this album to start. and I feel like a bit of an idiot for having misjudged any part of his career. It's like almost like now it's like I want to go hear what the music says because maybe the guy isn't so. I give this a 4.5. I think the music's fucking vibrant. You can hear his production skill really come to life because he's fucking got an ear and a half, and it's not boring. It comes to life. You can hear the choirs that come in the background, like the kids are singing along with him in this moment. It's truly a theatrical experience, and it's an amazing first song for the album.
Nice. I gave this song a 4.5 on 5 as well. I think I'm basically just going to reiterate whatever you said because it's an amazing song. The only reason why actually it didn't get a 5 on 5 is because I feel that I don't know how to I guess properly word it, but I feel that I'm not in that we don't care type of mentality anymore. I feel like the kids in the background, they're kind of alluding to, like, again, like high school kids, college kids, and I'm not in college anymore. I think
it's more a matter of life is trying to say that you're supposed to do all of these things.
Right.
The drivel of what they would say at a college valedictorian speech countered
Of course. I don't want to discredit that. I'm
Chris,
just saying, like,
you have to go to school now. You shouldn't be making music. You shouldn't be podcasting. So in a sense, by doing even this show, you are in that group of people in the we don't care because you do your thing.
Yeah. Interesting.
I would say, at least that's how I took it. Like, in his reality, it manifested in a specific way. But if you were to translate it into all realities, I feel like this album is mad relatable across the board because everywhere you go, you get told, go to school. It's the only way. And everywhere you go, it seems more and more often there's alternative paths that are not being talked about anymore.
Yeah.
no.
I like this one. I also gave it a 4.5 on 5. He criticizes at one point the minimum wage and what's that doing, and that you can't floss or, like, you know, you can't impress anybody with like $6.50 or whatever it is at the time. And it's true. So there's that. And then they say that, you know, when they cut the lights out, like, we don't live here. And I think that it's trying to, like, maybe they don't want them there, like, in that sense as well, like, you know, just because they're not paying their bills, but, you know, but I don't know, like, for me, it made me think, like, oh, okay, maybe, like, in, like, whatever area he was living, or where he grew up, you know, Southside Chi-Town, yep, that, you know, they kept turning the lights off and stuff like that, and it's just because they wanted to darken that situation. They just didn't care about them. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, so just a 4.5.
And then
pretty good.
And then it flows right into graduation day.
Yep.
I don't mean that in no nice way. That little kid singing about the shit. No, the joke's on.
So,
we've got this guy again. The guy's talking like this.
Basically, Kanye gets kind of expelled for his rude song that spoke truth to the kids.
Well, and the guy's like, also, like, how are you supposed to let go? And he's trying to impress the white people. And
he's basically saying,
so failed
how are
with
you
that.
supposed to succeed if you're not willing to suck corporate dick is another way to look at it. You know, I'm not trying to say that it's the same struggle. I'm trying to say that it's not exactly the most different struggle either, because when push comes to shove, everybody seems to have a dick to suck these days, and I think that's what he's trying to imply here with this graduation speech. It's like, suck on it.
Well, like, the graduation song is playing in the background, and
then he gets basically told you're kicked out, and then and the most amazing thing happens. John Legend comes in, and it just changes into this, like, beautiful singing thing, and I don't remember exactly what it said, but it almost feels like Kanye's come to terms with who he is, and it's like he figures out his life in this moment.
Well, he accepts. I feel like there's a he accepts that now that his like free speech of what he wanted to say at the graduation, at the podium, and all that, the valedictorian speech, he feels like because that is shunned and that got him to, like, not kind of graduate, kind of get, like, thrown out and all that. He's now like, well, now I'm going to fight for my right to speak, and he knows what he wants to do, and he wants to bring the truth, and he wants to preach what he has to say.
And it's like
he's not confused anymore.
Exactly. It's like basically because he wasn't happy in school, and now he's been released from that cage. And it's really interesting, like, how it flows, like, into the next track when we do get there. I gave this a 4.5. I thought it was.
Question: did Kanye put John Legend on the map?
It just said John Legend. No, I don't know.
No,
about on the map.
I think he was already on a map.
I feel
but...
like it was more like John Legend showed up, kind of like to help Kanye out a little more. But I could be wrong. And if you guys know, because we didn't Google this, let us know in the comments. Chris is doing his thing again.
I'm telling you, they'll miss it if I stop.
Who types like this, man?
No, just put it in the comments below. I'm just letting it below.
So in the comments, it'll be more like
I don't want to tell them to
or
type. Just like, yo,
it would
below,
be like
down
this.
there, like just
Anyway,
go. Like,
on that note, 4.5 on 5 because this is a really cool skit. I mean, I feel like it's an interesting. Like you just watch this transformation happen, and that's kind of why I gave Intro the first track as high as it was. Because to me, from like the first 3 songs are almost all the same piece, right? It's like an act in this story.
Yeah.
And I really liked the way that flowed, and I thought it was, honestly, as far as music albums go, that's really cool. Not many albums can like really do that so well. So 4.5.
nice.
Well, I think that like in this, like Kanye wasn't having like any of it. Like he's getting yelled at, and he's just like, whatever. Like I'm gonna find something better than school, and I'm gonna find my own way. And you can see that he's a rebel, and he doesn't care, and that he's not like everybody. And like I think that he's trying to show that there's different routes and routes that you can take, and he'll figure out his own way, and he's special, and he's gonna like figure it out. So I gave this one a 4.
And you?
I gave this one a 4.5 on 5. I really like John Legend's voice.
Yeah.
That's why I was just asking, because I've heard him before, and like my mom listens to him too, so I was like, okay.
Because he's a legend.
Well, clearly.
And his name is John.
But I really like his voice. I really like the contrast between. I got this feel of like when you had the professor kind of shunning Kanye for what he said on the podium. I feel like John Legend brings this smooth but kind of powerful. Like I know what I'm doing with the lyrics, but broken and hurt because of what was said.
Right, like he just I get what you're saying. Kind of like he got whipped into this position. It wasn't like he got it through happiness, but through pain and disappointment in a system that basically made us all falls down.
Yep.
Now she look like Eve, and she be dealing with some issues that you can't believe. Single black feet.
I really like the music video. I know I'm talking about the music video, but it's one of those ones you remember because it's all done from the perspective of Kanye's eyes.
It's got Dion from Clueless.
And then you know it's Kanye because when he looks at the car and sees his reflection, or when he looks in the bathroom mirror and sees himself, or when he gets x-rayed because he's, black and harassed and shit.
Well, I want to say it's because he's wired, because he got his,
but the part where like they don't let him through and they keep stopping him and it's like, come on, just let me through. I think he's trying to make a point with the video.
Fair.
The video didn't really do it for me. But
I like the way it was filmed from the perspective. It was very notable. It was different than other music videos.
I like at the beginning where like she opens her wallet and she has no money and she just like reaches out and is like, okay, give me some money. I need it to like pay this guy, and I don't want you to do it, so I'm gonna do it, because she's trying to be like independent. And so she like takes the money from him to just pay like the guy's like the cab driver or whatever.
Yeah. And then the song's really strong, man. It's got some of the best like honestest lyrics that I think are gonna come around. Like, I don't know.
It's about a dropout from college.
Well, it's got
like a girl dropout.
Well, the girl, because she felt like first, like she dropped out because her self-esteem was shit because she felt like she didn't belong. And I like the fact that this song is a lot about self-esteem, validation, finding validation through consumerism. Yeah. I mean, I know the second verse, man, I promise, I'm so self-conscious. That's why you always see me with at least one of my watches.
It's like he has to look cool when he goes out.
And it's like, yo, when you ever heard a rapper admit he's doing it because he's got self-esteem issues and he's worried about how he looks, right?
Maybe it doesn't even work.
And
maybe it's
like,
just like a decorative watch.
Right. No, he's working.
I mean, but the fact is that it's like...
And he, like, can't say, like, the luxury brands, like, that he's trying to, like, afford. He says, like, Versace or whatever. And, like, he can't, like...
Well, I think that's just him being creative with it.
But then I also
But also showing that he doesn't really know them.
So I like how
he's
he
learning
takes,
about
like a male and female perspective on this consumerism. So in the first verse, you do have that female perspective where she goes from... you know, going to school and dropping out and lying about stuff, whatever, to just kind of do what she got to do to get money. Kanye is basically throwing his extra...
She becomes like a hairdresser or whatever.
I don't remember.
I think so.
And then, like, Kanye kind of, like, ends up admitting how he kind of throws everything he has into fashion and stuff because, like, it makes him feel better at the end of the day. Makes him feel like he has worth. And then in the third verse, how it's basically a racist corporate political scheme to hold down black people by getting them to fall in love with these fashion brands and to take their money and their wealth and give nothing back to them.
Well, considering that he's in the last song, or, you know, the last, like, real song, so the second song, like, he's talking more about, you know, like, how much money you can get paid and you can't floss with that much money. And in this one, he's saying, like, it's basically, like, obviously, like, they have credit cards, you know, and so it's like they're making minimum wage, but they still try to afford, like, to have, like, all these fancy things. Right. So it's interesting.
And I like how I like that he takes the time to tie it together to, like, this is not okay. This is an exploitation tactic, and I don't disagree with him. And then is it Syleena Johnson?
Syleena Johnson.
I love her voice on that chorus. It's super beautiful.
I like she's powerful. I quoted this. She's very powerful in terms of controlling her voice, but as well, I like the scratchiness in it. I like the scratchiness because it really makes effect on the falling down, on kind of fearing that once, like, all the material is gone, once all the designer brands, the clothing, like, what do you really have at the end of the day with yourself? Like, I got that from her. Yeah, I was really cool. That was really great.
Sounds a 5 for me, and the beat's great. I mean, the whole feel's cool. And what I guess got to say from a beat perspective, it's very different than the last song. It feels different. Kanye's flows are different. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's refreshing. It really has some artistic merit to the way these songs come alive. What else did you guys think?
I gave it a 5. I thought there's just a lot of truth in, like, everything that he's saying. Like, he's really, like, he's not holding back. Like, he's saying, like, this is what's going on. This is what I'm seeing. Like, you know, it's interesting.
5 on 5. Honestly, the whole touching upon consumerism and how we buy clothes to, or not even buy clothes, but, like, just buy things to make us feel better is just so real that I don't know, I was blown away with it.
Cool.
So it's almost like you'll fly away?
Yeah, I'll fly away.
Almost.
So the last song ends with, I think it's the same school teacher guy kind of complaining about how it's, like, slave work every day sucks, and that's right at the end of all.
I don't think it's the same.
Or it might be a different guy, but it's kind of
so.
implying it's like, you know, life's got a lot of hard work, and then it flows into "I'll Fly Away," which apparently is the most recorded gospel song in history. I've never heard it before.
It was written in 1929 by Albert E. Brumley.
But it's beautiful as fuck.
And
it's got Tony Williams and DeRay singing it, and the keys have Ervin E.P. Pope playing. And it's very beautiful, and it was very heartfelt. And when it's just, like, coming right after, like, the idea of being worked to death, and then you hear this, like, hopeful expansion of music and whatnot, and it's almost like you almost picture guys.
But it's kind of sad at the same time.
Right.
Well,
I was gonna say you almost picture slaves
like
working in a field singing songs together or something like that.
I see that, and I feel like it's also sad because Kanye, and I got this from the song, Kanye feels like he accepts death as an escape from this hellish reality. He understands that this is earth, this is life, but this is not happiness. This feels like hell to him.
He'll be happy when he's in heaven.
Yeah, he'll be happy when he flies away because he doesn't have to deal with this anymore. And I think that's really sad in terms of feeling so broken that you can't find the joys in what you have and what we are now. That like there's something going on.
I give it a 4 though, because it's really not my cup of tea otherwise, but it's really well made.
I also gave it a 4. I thought it was an interesting song. I did really like that, that there was, like, that gospel hymn, like, that was, like, revamped and, like, done again. And it was interesting. But for me, like, I just felt like it was weird placement. Like, it didn't quite fit on the album.
I don't know about that.
Like, maybe in, like, I don't know. For me, like, this could be... I don't know. It was just weird placement, or maybe on a different album or something. But for me, like, it was a little bit weird. It was still good, and still had a good message. But yeah, it was a 4 on 5.
Okay.
Nice. I gave it a 4 out of 5 as well. Only just because I don't think I'll go back to it. It's not a bad song. It's produced well. It's nice. It's amazing. I like, again, how Kanye conveys that emotion of wanting to escape, and he feels like death is the only escape. But
Yeah. So
Well, maybe it happened like after or like right after the the car crash or whatever. Like maybe like he put this song on it because he did nearly die, and I don't know. But for me, like I just found like it was like a weird.
But I feel like it fits, right?
Snuck in weird.
Because this album kind of tells the story of discovery. So you have this moment where like it all falls down. You've just graduated into the world. You've started working. You've started realizing what's your self-esteem is like. And then you started getting kind of whatever. And then you just feel like you need to escape. You need to get away. And it leads beautifully into the subject matter that's explored in the next track, Spaceship.
All right, let's check it out.
And catch my hustle. You can't fathom my love, dude. Lock yourself in a room, dude.
This is a great song about dreaming of escape in a spaceship to get you out of the awful working conditions.
Because he wants to be a star. He's
Well,
waiting for that spaceship
yeah,
to take
I
him
like
up
how
there.
he broke down the system of working on how
Minimum wage at the Gap.
I feel like each verse is a different perspective, right? So you have Kanye, who is working at the Gap, dealing with things like racism, like
Right.
when black people walk in, oh, now Kanye is a star.
Well, it's
Well,
like
yeah,
they
but
make
we were
him
saying
the
that he
greeter at the
stands
front of the
outside.
store.
Yeah, he stands outside of the store to show that, like, oh, look at this
No,
store,
but-
how they're hiring colored folk.
Yeah, but then at the same time, one of the lines is like they hide him in the back sometimes, but then when black people walk in, they bring him out specifically to be like, hey, black guy's here, you should listen to him as the salesman.
Like he'll know what they want, you know. It's like
and then
and that he steals because he feels like it's work.
Yeah.
It's like the minimum wage that he's making isn't anything, so he says that he steals, and like gets away with it or whatever.
then it's fair because of the bad treatments and whatnot. And then what I think is interesting is then you go into, I believe GLC is the second verse.
Yeah.
And
then it's concept.
he has like this almost a different attitude. You can tell he's kind of older. He's more of an OG type. He just never worked. He had to do a different kind of grind to kind of get into the same place. And I think what this track is really trying to convey is multiple grinds and different places to be at. And it really sells it home with somebody like Consequence, who was offered the deal and had everything happen to him that was supposed to be good. And then it was pulled away. But still, he's going to work every single day, and he's going to put in that time and effort. And all of them imply it, even though that things didn't go right, even if they have to flip it up, even if they're all just going to keep grinding.
And he's
till
gonna take the dollar cab.
that spaceship comes. And I was like, man, I felt this one. You feel it in your soul.
The beat is so captivating and it's so hard. You can really hear the drums and really hear the bass and the boom, 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 boom. It is insane. Like, you really, like, I don't know if you said it earlier, but you really do get that, like, picture of, like, slaves working and chanting this song. At least the chorus.
Like marching.
Okay, I get it.
Well, maybe not so much slaves, but, like, I could see inmates.
Guys,
I could see,
please
like,
don't take it like we're racist. We're Canadians. We're white. We're trying to be cool.
sorry.
Anyways.
just as a disclaimer, we might be ignorant.
We might be white. We're sorry.
Yeah, that could happen too. Anyway, I do think this song's a little out of my scope of interest in terms of being perfect. I give it a 4.5 on 5. I think it's a really great, heartfelt song. I think it's not my favorite song on the album, and it's a little on that kind of gospel-y soul side of things, which is okay. It's
I like
just,
that kind of feel. I like that.
and I know, like, it's really reminiscent of the town where he comes from, and a lot of people love that stuff, but I'm not one of those people who loves it. So objectively, it's a brilliant song, but not my favorite.
But it is like, kind of lining you up for the next song, and like just like the way that it's feeling.
That's true.
And, just, like that sort of like gospel feeling, which is good.
Fair enough. Give it a 5 on 5. I really like this song. I like the beat. I like the production of it. I like the drums. I like the metaphor. I like the entire concept of feeling like a slave at work and not feeling like you're really getting anywhere and not really doing anything. I totally can relate. So 5 on 5, man. Smashing track.
What did you give it?
4.5.
All right. Did you guys know that Jesus walks?
Yes.
On water?
It's called
Questions, harass and arrest us. Saying we eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast, huh?
I'm not allowed to say it.
So when this song came out, I was going through what I would like to call my super Christian phase of life, which we can talk about at a later time if anyone wants.
A critical look.
But like at the time, the idea of this song was really interesting because it was exactly like what it was. And so it was kind of like I listened to it and I paid attention to it, but I was too young and stupid to know what's up. Then I listened to it as a grown-up, and holy shit, this is one of the most lyrically powerful songs like I think I've ever heard, just in terms of criticisms of society / contextualizing his world / everything all at once. And
Please break it down.
break it down now.
well, you know what the Midwest is, young and restless. So what he's saying is, in the Midwest, it's a young and restless place where restless people might. Anyway, I could run through it all, but basically, it comes from a hard time, etc. And he uses Jesus as salvation, but then he kind of like goes into the second verse.
And he says that he's kind of nervous to talk to God because he hasn't spoken with him in a long time.
Yes, that's part of the chorus, and it shows he has a complicated relationship. But then it's that second verse where it's like, this is for all the things that can get celebrated in music. You know, the hustlers, murders, whatever, the victims of welfare. We live in a hell here, hell yeah. Beautiful and fucking lines, though.
Yeah.
And then he really goes into how he needs Jesus to get through it all. But, like, if you talk about God, you could talk about sex, guns, lies, videotapes. But if I talk about God, it means my record won't get played.
It's like he can talk about,
So
you
if
know,
this
all
takes
these crazy
away
bad
from
things, but he can't talk about, you know, the good thing that's going to, like, help out people.
Right, and then I love how it like that verse ends. So if this takes away from my spins, it'll probably take away from my ends. I hope that takes away from my sins. And so there's something day that it comes out. Next time I'm in the club, everybody's screaming out. And then I remember when everybody fucking loved this song. And it's really like amazing to see how he managed to break into the clubs with a hit where everyone's screaming out Jesus Walks. Like in 2004 or whatever this was,
2004.
I think it's one of the most impressive things to happen to music in the modern era. It's truly beautiful. I don't care what your relationship with God or religion is, but he makes a valid fucking point. You know, like, it really is a strange way that the mainstream spins the topic of religion but allows all the other dark stuff and whatnot. I mean, the beat's just fantastic. The production is excellent.
Everything's good.
Like, if I said anything negative about this song, half you would probably exit a fucking video. Because I don't know. If there's a flaw, in fact, can you let me know? Because I don't know what it is. When he breathes like that. Like, I'm really into this track, as you guys can tell. I've liked this song probably since I'm a teenager. So it's one of the only ones on this album I'm
even like at that, like
with.
he talks about like the being choked, and like it's like I'm really sorry for like not knowing like his name right off the top of my head, but the guy who was choked and killed by the cops, and like when he's saying I can't breathe, like that's like literally like what's happening in this song. So like that's what's happening like in
That's
you know like that
really good observation.
yeah, like this is what's happening.
You know what?
Like this is real life. Like this is what's going on, and like he just is like this is crazy. And I mean even this was before that happened. And
a long time. I mean, everything is just saying that it's been happening. Kanye called it out, and back then in 2004.
like he's saying, you know, like we're at war, and like you know, there's all this stuff. It's just happening, and it just still is happening.
And
so
then,
it's crazy.
I love the line where he's like, "The cops like I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast," and then
He's
his
like, you eat
response,
pieces of shit.
Yeah, and I never really clicked until I was really paying attention, and that might be one of the funniest lines on the entire album. Just to question that line of reasoning. Like, I mean, it's really funny.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Kanye at the end of the day is how
He's sarcastic and like kind of like.
But it's so silly in the middle of this like seriousness because it works and it's real and it's the kind of sarcasm he would have said to a cop, I bet. Anyway, this is a 5. This is maybe even more than a 5. I gave it a 5, but it's a truly divine song. No pun intended.
It is an epic song. I gave this one a 5. It was great. I think it's interesting that he wants to be redeemed, you know, for his sins a little bit by doing this kind of like movement for Christianity or for Jesus or God or whoever, you know, like that you believe in, I guess. And then just to have like all these people, whether you believe it or not, like just screaming out like Jesus walks, like he's like, I'm going to do this. And, you know, I think it's interesting. It's a cool idea. I like it.
I gave this song a 5 on 5. I think that everything he brought to the table on this track is just amazing. I think the production was great. I had trouble focusing a little bit on it because there's so much in detail and I had to keep going back. I think that when I finally get the time to fully analyze the song, I'll have more to say on it. But I am not going to be able to discredit what it is, and it's an amazing song.
Cool.
Right. I also know there was more than one music video, but I could only find one of the copies of the music video. So if I'm crazy, can you let me know in the comments if you guys know what I'm talking about? Anyway.
Well, I looked up on YouTube today, and I got a version 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what version 1 was, but YouTube never lets me down.
Yeah.
My grandfather who took my mama made us sit in that seat where white folks ain't want us to eat.
This feels like a really honest and amazing song plus Jay-Z advertisement all rolled into one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it definitely, like, it's still a good song, and I still think that, you know, the other people involved, there's J.I.V. and Jay-Z. But I do feel that it's definitely Jay-Z stealing the show on this one a little bit.
But not only is he stealing the show in a narcissistic way, he's stealing the show in a really talented way because it's a really great.
And he
start to
stands
the
out.
song.
Like, as soon as you hear him, like, you know
and
who
that
it is.
chorus is beautiful. That beat is fucking incredible. But no, I'm gonna say J.I.V. really stole the show on this one for me.
Really?
Cool.
Because that spoken word poetry bit at the end, holy shit, was it unexpected.
Yeah, that was
I
nice.
really listened to him a couple of times as he was going through it, and he really had the same kind of like wordplay complexity as what Jay-Z was bringing to the table on this song.
And you're like, you know, he says God
But-
will never never let you down, and like
But,
it's the same sort of thing coming after like the Jesus Walks kind of.
And like I feel like J.I.V. was so humble and passionate and had such intricate and interesting wordplay, and the way he delivered it was like he didn't need the beat, but the beat was just almost built around him in that moment. It was so great. Jay-Z's outro was okay. Kanye's verse in the middle was appreciative and grateful.
And a little bit cocky, a little bit, because he's like, I'm here to like, you know, like experience my legacy, whereas like, you know, a lot of other people have died, and
Is that
you know,
Jay-Z or Kanye?
it was Kanye because he talks about, I
Right.
believe Biggie and maybe someone else. I'm not sure who else he talks about.
Which is fair. He is there.
So he's there to experience like his
Doesn't
fame and
Jay-Z
fortune
drop
and
his
his
line
legacy.
about being a living legend on this? Doesn't
Yeah, at
Jay-Z-
the end, everybody want to be Hove, but Hove's still alive.
He's
Yeah.
like, and I'm a living legend. Why? Because I'm everyone
I'm a
wanna-
living legend, and I'll tell you why.
Like,
Because
so-
everybody want to be Hove, but Hove is still alive.
And he's right, especially at this point. Holy shit. This is back with like Blueprint and Dirt Off Your Shoulders and all of that
Well,
shit,
yeah.
right? This is like, fuck, you own the world at this time. A lot more than like now where people want to be him for his bank account. Say what you will, YouTube. People want to be him for his bank account more than they want to make his music.
Okay.
In 2017.
I
That's
really
all I'm trying to
enjoyed this
say.
song. I think that it was nice to hear Jay-Z come on this track. It was nice to hear J.I.V. also as well. I do agree with the spoken word. That was really cool. I like how you Holden, you felt like the beat was surrounded around his verse. I felt like he took that verse and went around the beat in terms of like playing on these weird off timings, but also being so melodically controlled that it works.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was like a really well composed song. I don't think it's my favorite because, to a degree, JD's braggadocious nature is a little much.
A little bit.
Just a little. And it kind of takes away from like, it's almost like, I get this song. To me, it's like Jay-Z offering a stamp of approval to the world saying, I do agree with Kanye. He is, in fact, a rapper, which is relevant when we hear the outro track on this album. But I give it a 4.5. I'm still blowing out of the water. This is a great experience. It's like, even if the subject matter might not be my favorite compared to some of the other ones, the production is stellar. The sound of the song, you just want to vibe to it. You just feel good when it comes on. And Jay-Z is still extremely talented at this point. Like, fuck, it's really nice.
Yeah. I gave it a 4.5. I thought it was really good. I mean, it is obviously another good one. You know, whether it's not great, it's not like the perfect one. Again, same sort of feeling. But it's still pretty good. And Jay-Z for me, like, yeah, he definitely stands out.
4.5. I don't have much to say. I said everything I had to say.
Okay.
The only thing is that it sounded more like a Jay-Z song than a Kanye track. Pretty
I
much
don't know
it.
about that because Get 'Em High is next. Anyway.
You'll bash your skull, and I will cut your girl like past the troll. And I don't usually.
This song made me laugh. This had my first real laugh out fucking loud moment. And I'll tell you when it was. I think most people can probably guess. It's when Talib Kweli comes in and goes, "Is this dude really using my name to pick up chicks?"
Yes, yes,
And
he is.
yes, he was. This is a funny song. I mean, it comes in and the chorus is just like, get him high. Like, so you get this vibe where all of a sudden it's going to be a little chiller, a little bit more of a fun experience. Yeah. And then he just drops the beat and comes in like with this sick fucking like, I keep him high, blah, 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 and it just like flows.
But it's like keep him high, like with drugs, and then keep him high, like get your hands up, like keep your hands
I meant like
up
the
there.
verse, like when he starts the verse, right?
Yeah.
It's just
like
so
his
powerful.
flow is
It's
so
just,
like
he drops the beat.
It's really good.
And you can tell like Kanye's got full control because he's the producer and whatnot. Anyway, and then he comes in, he starts rapping and he's flossing and he's doing his thing, and then he meets a girl, and the girl's favorite rapper is Talib Kweli, and he's like, "Yeah, I know him. He's my friend."
And
she's like,
"No, you don't." Blah blah blah.
And he's like, "Yeah, hold on, let me call him up. Like, can you spit some rhymes for me for a second? I want to get laid. I want to give her the dick. Come on."
Of course, this is what a guy would do.
And then Talib Kweli's like,
homies, bro.
but then it's just.
And it was like from, what was the website? Like,
I don't remember.
Black World
Black Planet.
Yeah, that's it.
And then honestly, Talib Kweli just, okay. And then like goes in on the line like, I can't believe it. And then he just drops this verse like, well, if I gotta fuck her, I gotta fuck her. But I heard she's a hoe and I have no respect for her and a bunch of other shit. Like, I was having to bring her friend. And I'm like, man, Talib Kweli is not having this.
Nope.
This is going to be in the best of moods. But it's still really like, it's a comical moment. And then Common comes on and
What?
I felt very strange about Common's
I didn't
verse.
like Common. I just, he's not bad. He's got great technique, but
It was a really strange
He's
verse
talking about
for-
how he's an MC, and I didn't realize that that's what he was.
Well, I mean, he is a rapper.
Yeah.
MC.
Okay.
And I mean, basically, it's like we go from this, like, I'm the best, the girls, all of this, party, fun, like, we're going to get high together, to, like, I'm the sickest MC and all of y'all are fake. I'm like, this is a
It was a little bit weird.
big transition
It
to
felt
a
like
whole new
a
song.
cypher / freestyle / let's get high and rap type session
But,
deal.
like,
Maybe.
Talib Kweli and Kanye's verses flowed, like, perfect together.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it just felt like Common had this verse lying around and they were like, whatever. And like, I've listened to Common's verse the first couple of times. I didn't even like it. And I listened to it again today and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be that hard on it because it's a pretty good verse. My problem is that it's not the right verse for this song. It doesn't
Right.
fit this song.
And it's too long.
No, the song, so yeah, Common's verse is a bit long. Either way, this might be one of the lower grades I've actually given on the album, and it's largely a result of Common's ill-placed verse, but for me it's a 3.5 on 5. But if you listen to it till the end of Talib Kweli's song and you skip it to the next, it fits real nice, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I originally gave this a 4.5, and then I went back and I was like, not so much. And I gave it a 4 at the end. It is a good song. He's got, there's great flow. It's amazing. It's a really different feel to this song than the other one so far. But I liked it. It was a cool approach. It was neat. I liked it.
Nice. I gave it a 4 on 5. The only thing really stopping it from getting a 5 or even a half mark was Common's verse didn't make sense.
It's very
and
common.
It was long. I don't know. It kind of felt like it dragged out near the end, and I was like, this could have been done without.
It's almost as if Common needed the workout plan.
A six-pack Shakur and stuff, you know what I'm saying? My nigga, I'm tired of putting 187.
3 kind of ghetto ladies.
Shall we say?
Basically discussing. One of them has gotten on this new workout plan that has allowed her to snag a very rich and successful guy, which has increased her standard of living.
She has the bootleg version.
And she can hook them up with the bootleg version for free $99, which I didn't actually catch the first time, and I was like, wait, free $99? And then I get it, and then anyway, so these girls are all excited because they can get their own man, and the girl's like, I'm gonna throw up my bus pass. And it's basically the skit that leads into the next track, but it's an interesting.
They're professionals.
Yeah, and I think it's basically trying to document a particular type of lady in her, conquests
But it's also like, I mean, if we look at like all the other albums that we've looked at, like, you know, like these women or, you know, men, like they're looking for ways to get out of the ghetto, to stop being like these hoes or whatever. And so, or maybe they want to keep being hoes. I don't know.
Well, I feel like it's
But
just
I think
a
that like
matter
it's just a way for them to like escape. And so like it's their out.
And so they want to find guys that are rich to get their money through the rap playing. And so there's a new way to ensure you can get that guy. Anyway, I don't know.
It's 46 seconds, so it's not like a long one.
But it's so stereotypical. I have a lot of trouble listening to it. For me, it's a 3.5. I think it serves its purpose on the album, but it's totally a strange direction.
Yeah, I gave this one a 3.
Yeah, I gave it a 3 as well.
Oh, well. It does help build up for something that
The new workout plan.
Bonnie's favorite song.
Oh, girl, your silhouette made me wanna light a cig.
I believe this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my entire life in terms of serious albums. Like we're in this serious album, you know, it's really going through, and then it's Kanye's workout plan,
Well,
which is fuck 'em, right? And mixed with workout jokes, mixed with
to be
get his
fair,
attention as a man, and something Bonnie said earlier, it's like, here's how things are gonna work out, you know, like you do all the right things for me and you'll get all the right things, but it's just
It's like if
he
can
tried so hard on this wonky concept, with the testimonials at the end, with the effort he put into this song is fucking phenomenal. Okay, that's the truth of the matter. He tried so hard. And the video. Holy shit is the video.
It's definitely not something that would like pass today. But maybe, you know, like, you know, in 2003
shit's like, bitch,
or 2004
eat your
when
salad,
it happened.
skip your dessert, get skinny so that your man will love you and buy you things is the crux of this song.
But
And
I think
fuck
that
'em,
it is
bring
like,
your
but like, you know, work
friends.
out your stomach because nobody wants like a tight ass. And that's something else that he says. It's like he just, you know, like you can work out certain parts of your body. It's sort of like what Sir Mix-a-Lot said. And, you know, like you don't have to like do like Jane Fonda, you know, like you just have to work out certain parts of your body. It's like, it's like this isn't for you. This is to get something, to like, you know, that women have to like live up to like a certain stereotype, or they have to look good in order to like attract the right kind of men, and like that's what he's trying to do. Like he's trying to like, I think it's like if he can get these girls, then he'll be like, okay, like it's sort of like a stamp that says like, well, I slept with Kanye West, so I'm worth more now. So, you know, like, so then they can kind of like mingle in with like these other rich kind of guys and try to like, you know, get a rapper or get, you know, somebody else that's producer, you know, somebody else that's in the business, and just to be able to have like, that's just what they're going to do. And it's just a weird song.
I think it's just that he actually delivers the point fucking flawlessly. I think ridiculous is my thing, because it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and
like
4
it's still a
and
good
2,
song to like work out to. Like it sounds like
keep
that.
your tummy tight, and you're just like, holy shit, he went in on this concept. And like, it's one of those things where only Kanye could have a whole bridge where it's like, it's Kanye's workout plan, and the whole thing is like, allow me to introduce you all to myself, and it's like, what? Kanye, this is amazing.
And Anna Nicole Smith was in this music video, and I mean, she was kind of like that. Like she was sort of like in it for the money, and like then she was a chubby girl, and then she, you know, she lost weight, and then she became more famous, and like she was able to like, you know, she was basically I guess a gold digger to start with, and so it was just same sort of thing.
I really dig this track. I think it's got one of the best energies on the album. It's really high fun, and it's so stupid. It's amazing, and for what it is, I mean, it's really well written. Please don't take it like I think it's stupid, but it's so dumb. It's amazing. It's a 4.5 on 5. I love this song.
Yeah.
You give it a 4.5 too?
No, I gave it a 4. I thought it was a fun song, but it was a weird song. I don't know if I would go back to it.
I feel like it's super satirical as much as it's...
It is. Like, he's obviously, like, you know, he's not just, like, training girls. Like he's not, at the gym, like, helping these girls work out. Like he's just
Wow,
trying to
I
like
don't
help
think his
them.
workout plan happens at the gym, baby.
Yeah, but he's just trying to like help them work. I don't know. I don't know what his goal was with this song.
Give head, weave right.
But it was interesting.
I gave this song a 4.5 on 5. I think what he tried to do was amazing. I think that he got very creative and silly with this.
Chris, this is one of the first times where I'm going to give it to you. This is really creative.
But I don't really know how I feel about kind of just telling women that your real only option is to basically...
It's not telling women. That's what the whole point...
It's like the irony of it.
That's where I'm a little
like,
confused.
yeah.
Like, I just
you
want
have
to...
to
okay.
like take the song into context with the skit, where it's a bunch of women who are particularly looking to get this type of guy.
Okay.
And he's saying, well, if you want this type of guy, follow Kanye's workout plan. Where I do think it's stuff like, if you sleep with me, you get that clout. And so it's, again, not targeting all women. And I think that's why he put that skit there right before it. Deliberately video hoe type girls, etc., etc.
Fair enough. I still give it a 4.5 though.
And I love how right after the workout plan, it flows right into slow jams.
Yeah.
Light-skinned friend look like Michael Jackson. Got a dark-skinned friend look like...
I did not know this was on the College Dropout. So once upon a time, me and my buddy, we was young boys, 15-ish. We were playing with that Twista Kamikaze CD, because Twista was a thing once upon a time. He's on this song, spoiler alert. Jamie Foxx, spoiler alert.
Oh, Jamie Foxx, sexy, yes.
And so I won't forget this, right? Because this song was like one of the first times I heard fast rap.
Yeah.
But that's what he says even in the song. He's like, can you do it fast? And then Kanye's like, no, but Twista can. And then he gives it to him. So it's
but
cool.
like, it was the first time in my all life, was one of the first times I heard like fast rap like that. Like, in the way you hug the beat. Yeah. And it's pretty fly, and it's pretty good. I know who Jamie Foxx was back then, so I know who that was. And then we got here, and I'm like, wasn't this on a Twista album? Fun fact, it was released as a single for both albums. Basically,
good to know.
Jay-Z was like, y'all both sound so good, you should both use it as a single. And that was just a fun fact. But I love this song. I like how it starts with that Jamie Foxx being like, because right after this new workout plan where they're all getting in shape, and then he's like, we got to consider what they want. They want to have something slow to vibe to. Something.
But like he's like shouting out like all of like these old like R&B like
and that's
singers
the song.
and like
Hit 'em with
bands.
some Marvin Gaye, some Luther Van, whatever.
And like those are the guys who are just known to be like sexy singers.
Mm-hmm.
So and make these like slow romantic like
Well,
songs.
I like how he took the time to kind of go on like that R&B type feel a little bit, and then busts it open with Twista.
And then Kanye comes in and just raps about meeting the girl and blah blah blah. My favorite line is, she got a light-skinned friend look like Michael Jackson, got a dark-skinned friend look like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can just remember being in high school, and that's one of those lines, because at the same time the Michael Jackson court cases were happening and all of that stuff. So it was just a part of my youth. And the beat's great. It's got that beautiful fucking soulful feel to it. And Jamie Foxx croons a lot. That's what he does.
And I swoon.
And then Twista comes in and rips his verse, and he hugs it really well. All in all, it's a pretty fucking good song. It's totally not my favorite now as a grown-up. My criticism with this song is there's a lot of skitty parts in it. And like the part where Kanye is talking to the girl to go faster and faster, the 17th time isn't quite as cute as it is the first few times, and it breaks up the flow a bit.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if it was a little more just song, I think it would be pretty fucking flawless, for me at least. So it's a 4.5 on 5 because it's really impressive, and I like the fact that I like its placement on this album. Like, it is the perfect song to follow out the new workout plan, because it does start to play into what the girls.
Well, it is like a
dance
very
to and stuff.
what I said. It's like a sexy song, kind of. It's like a dedication or like a tribute to like like those those old school singers.
And it's also got that sense of, we just made a song about what Kanye wants, about what the men want. Here's something for the ladies right after, just.
And I feel like Kanye doesn't stand out again on this track. Like he's still on it, and he's still obviously there. But for me, like Twista and Jamie, like they kind of again stole the show more than
Foxx
Kanye.
I really actually
Kanye,
likes
and
Kanye's.
Twista can rap.
I'm gonna
double
disagree
time,
with you. I think Kanye's verse is far better than Twista's verse, in my opinion. I mean, Twista's fast and tricky, but it's really boring. Whereas Kanye is kind of clever, quirky, and fun with it.
Yeah.
And he actually has more to say with his verse. And Twista, it's just fast and tricky. It's not bad. It's a good verse, but it's not as good as... I actually like Kanye more.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Now, Jamie Foxx steals the show. Because it's like... I think a lot of people went, wait, Jamie Foxx? At least in the
Yes.
white communities. I don't know. Our experiences are not universal. I'm just acknowledging that shit. Anyone else got more on this track? Do we all give grades?
Nope, this was a 4 for me.
This is a 4 for me as well.
Okay.
Breathe in, breathe out. Pull your D out.
That was terrible.
If you're iced up, pull your sleeves out. Push a big truck, pull your...
Apparently, Luda didn't get paid to do this this feature here.
No,
he
he
traded
decided
it
to
off for
jump
3
on.
beats.
Which one of them became...
Stand up. If you move, I move. Just like that. Anyway, this isn't a Luda review.
Yep.
I can't wait to do Luda one day.
Yes,
we'll
one
get
day.
there. But yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Luda's chorus. It's my least favorite part of this song, and it docked a whole point on because it kind of felt like it was weak.
It
Yeah.
was a little weak. It was a little weak. It wasn't as strong as what I know Luda can do.
And I mean, maybe other people can disagree with that. I just, whatever. I could do without it. I do like pull your D's out. That's a funny line because I don't understand what the fuck. Like, if your woman's there, pull your dick out. Like,
I think your D's.
oh.
double
Holy
D's.
shit. My goodness.
Oh my god.
I thought he meant the D.
No.
And I got, like, confused.
Doesn't he like quote Girls Gone Wild? Doesn't he
don't
like
give a
quote
shit.
like let your D's out like Girls Gone Wild or Girls Gone Wild let your D's out? It's like
Oh, fuck off. I don't care. It wasn't that great. I mean, I liked Kanye's verses, though.
good enough
Kanye-
to confuse you.
Ew.
Kanye.
I do find this is a confusing song.
Well,
Like, I
Kanye
wasn't
came
sure what it
in-
was
Okay,
about.
Okay, so just to get the premise of the track, the entire track is basically calling out all the rappers who claim to have a bunch of bitches, a bunch of hoes, bunch of money, bunch of chains and whatnot. And then when they really come up to the show, it's like, where are your hoes? Where are your bitches? Why can't you get a girl? Why don't you have the chain? What is this? So the whole song is basically Kanye and Ludacris going like, you talk so much shit, but you can't back it up.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
premise.
Kanye has a ridiculously excellent flow. It was really impressive to me. It was really fun. And honestly, if the hook was nicer, if I really liked the hook more, I honestly feel like Ludacris was here as a feature to validate the album, like to get like a stamp of approval almost.
But I'm like, it wasn't a good song. It wasn't, for me, like, at least, I guess it wasn't a good song. It wasn't the best one. And it's too bad because Ludacris is interesting. So maybe that's why he didn't want to get paid, because he was like, oh, I didn't do
I
the
don't know.
best
He
work
traded
there.
it for beats.
Okay.
Anyway. But either way, I love the verses. I think they're really fun. The beats actually got a nice vibe to it. I gave this a 4, and I just didn't like the hook. The hook didn't hook me, but the verses were truly ensnaring.
Nice. I gave this a 4 on 5 as well. Same thing. I don't think that the chorus or the hook actually holds the song together. I feel like it's a break in the song that really kind of throws you a little left field.
Yeah, I'm going to say that this was not my favorite. I gave it a 2.5.
That's okay. You want to talk about some school spirit skit 1?
Whoop, whoop.
Borrowing from mom from my high. So now you get your degree tattooed on your back.
So here we have a skit where he is clearly calling out how ridiculous it is that there are people who just pursue degrees.
Yeah.
They go out of their way to get these degrees for the sake of having degrees. Their validation and self-esteem come from these degrees, and they even go as far as to compromise their entire life to study and get these degrees, to the point where it's stuff like, and if a girl walks by and asks me what's sexy, I'ma say no, but I can count up all the change in your purse real fast. And it's like,
It's like, it isn't getting you ready for the real life. You know, like these degrees, and it's just gonna get you like the secretary job, and like just shit like that.
you know
And it's
what?
like,
the part where he's basically like, and the truth is, you're gonna work for the secretary, and you're gonna be the secretary to the secretary.
and she became like, you know, the secretary because of nepotism, and like,
and it's real shit, and it's like, this is the real world. You're gonna try so hard to do all this other shit for what? What's it gonna actually give you? And the way he does it is funny, informative, and pretty damn accurate. I was truly impressed with the school spirit skit 1. For me, it was a 4.5 on 5. I have now listened to it like 6 or 7 times. and I'm still laughing. I still think it's funny, and I still think it's really re-listenable, because I agree with what he's saying with such fervor and passion.
Yeah.
I think I gave it a 4 on 5. I thought it was really cool, and it's a lot of things that I thought of. I was like, how are you gonna really document somebody based on a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Like, what is a piece of paper gonna do in the end when you're homeless or when you can't afford food? Like, it doesn't matter.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, they both said it. It just makes fun of how far college doesn't get you. And, that there's other people like your age that are, selling drugs and, like, they're making lots of money and you can't get a job and you have this college degree, but, it's great. But, yeah, I mean, I think there was a lot of truth in this. I think that...
And how much more accurate is it really today? I think your degree becomes less relevant as technology changes shit, and Kanye really struck gold in 2004, and then we made fun of him for being smart. Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
That's the school spirit.
No skit.
Finish chasing y'all dreams and what you got planned. Now I spit it so hot, you.
As a dropout trying to build my own business, I can totally relate to this song. It's something I would like to throw out of there.
Fair enough.
I'm not uneducated. I'm just a guy who didn't get educated through formal education.
Fair enough.
I believe Kanye is kind of implying the same thing here. It's not about being stupid. It's about choosing to do your own
It's like
path.
when he was finished, he was finished.
And instead of, it's like he didn't, like he's, anyway, that kind of stuff. He basically goes out of his way to lay out another track saying that it's like, had I stayed in school, I never would have
Become the guy I am today. Become the genius I am now.
I wouldn't have had my opportunities. I wouldn't have built up this thingy. And then the chorus is just so fun, like alpha step, omega step.
Well, I wanted to bring light on that
step.
because I like how he
School
kind
time.
of showed the same way, like the way that the campus
I think he might
houses-
have a crush on sorority girls.
Well, that too.
okay.
But I'm saying, like, the way the campuses are made are kind of like how street gangs are made.
Yeah.
And I found that comparison as well. It was like, what you see in school is kind of like a sugar-coated type of what would be in the
I
streets.
feel like what he's trying to say a little bit is how the school system's kind of pimping people for money and whatnot. Like, it is a business.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got its own thing, and I do agree with you. I like it. I like the feel of the song. It's not my favorite. It's kind of got a sillier tone to it. We're kind of coming back to the school subject a bit.
Yeah.
I gave this one a 4. It's not his best performance either. He's good on it. Like, everything about it's okay, but it's only really okay. I almost feel like the skits surrounding it are twice as good as the actual song is in terms of everything surrounding it, which is really weird and unlike me very much, but I do enjoy it.
Fair enough.
I mean, 4 is not a bad mark, anybody out there. It's just not the best one on this album. It's pretty good for where we're at.
That's
Yeah.
okay. I'll take a hit with you. I got a 4 on this one as well.
Nice.
I think that the production was great. I think that his verses were laid down flat, but I don't know if I would go back to this multiple times. I think that there would be other songs I would go play before this one.
Well, he's sort of like explaining and justifying why he, didn't finish with school and just like why he left and, why school wasn't for him.
That's true.
And, he says that he almost died in a car crash. And so he's still here. And so he has something to offer that is better than that. And he's, better than what school can give him, whatever. He's going to keep doing something. So he's here for a reason. And that's just what he's trying to say. So I give this one a 3.5. Same sort of thing. It wasn't the best one that was on here. It was kind of annoying, but kind of like capturing at the same time. But yeah, that's about it.
Awesome. This follows into School Spirit 2, which is a clear
Another skit.
continuation of Skit 1.
You get your master's, then you get your master's, then you get your doctrine. You go, man.
Like this so much.
This is just kind of like validating the fact that the ideology of getting a degree is going to help you. And I like how in this skit he acknowledges the fact that he's like 50 or 52.
Yeah.
And that
he just keeps getting these degrees.
yeah, he just keeps getting degrees.
People
keeps
keep
learning.
making money, but he's just spending his on like getting degrees and
And people keep living life, I guess, still. But at the end of the day, you know what? He's going to die, and his degrees are going to keep him warm or whatever. And it's like, whatever.
better than newspaper.
Anyway, I give it another 4
I
out
don't
of
know. I
5.
think a newspaper has more pages.
But I give it another 4.5 because It really does drive it home. Like, you know that person. I think everybody might know that person who's obsessed with, I just want to educate myself forever. And really, like, when you get caught up in that world, you do kind of miss a certain degree of real
You
life.
become a bit of a bum because all you do is study. You're not actually contributing all of your like education and your intelligence that you're learning apparently to the real world.
I'm not even giving back at all.
Yeah.
Anyway, 4.5 again. It was as good as School Skit 1.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5. I gave it a 4 actually, not a 4.5.
Road.
It was cool. It was cool. I mean, it was a follow up, and it's the third part of this like 3-part track.
I gave it a 3, so there's that.
All right, then there's Jimmy Skit.
Lil
Lil Jimmy
Jimmy
Skit.
Yeah.
All the other kids' parents were working and saving up money for school.
Now we have the son of that guy going on about how his dad just
Left
worked,
him all the degrees, and
worked
that's like
himself to death.
the main goal. And now this kid has this ideology of wanting to get degrees and learning and educating himself, which by itself, that's not a bad lesson.
Like,
it's
my
good
dad
to
was in
educate
school when I was in
yourself. But
school.
My dad was
Just
so
the-
greedy with degrees, he stole my degree.
yeah, that too. But
I mean,
I feel that
but
it really
it's-
brings home the this concept of like it's what we teach each other. Like you need to
And
get a
it's
degree,
true.
and we
I
pass
got
it
told
down.
by my parents, go ahead, go to school, get a degree. Everyone got told, go to school, get a degree. Like,
Yep.
degrees in and of themselves fucking mean anything, and they don't. Look, if you should know what you're doing. If you have a job, and getting that job will be better to get it, you can get it easier.
If you want to be a
with
doctor,
degree.
you should probably have a degree.
But like, if you want to be insert something where you don't need a degree, then going to
Rapper.
school. Well, yeah, maybe there are degrees that can help you become a rapper. But like, let's say you wanted to be, I don't know, a business person. It might be smarter to, look into entrepreneurial endeavors and watch YouTube videos than it may be to go to a school. Is something more to the point. There are alternate ways to live life, and going to school and living off of degrees, and it's just some bullshit. Like, I don't know, man. I got the indoctrination. I chose to ignore it after the end of the day. However, other people, you maybe do need school. It's not to shit on school in and of itself, but I love the way he contextualizes it on this album. So Lil Jimmy Skit is going to get another 4.5 on 5 for me. Fucking amazing.
The Jimmy Skit got a 4.5 for me because of the realization of like this is what is actually being passed down, and this kid really believes that he needs to focus on knowledge just because it's what his father did before him.
Yeah, I give this one a 3.5. It is interesting, like, that it's like as if, normally I guess like because your father is working and you're going to be left some money and something, when they die. But, for in his case, he was left with his degrees, and it's like, wow, look at that, blah, blah, blah. This piece of paper, it's probably worth whatever, $100,000 or whatever it costs in the States to get those degrees. But it's like, what is it getting you? It's not doing anything. So it's just interesting.
Yeah. 2 words. 2 words indeed.
I am limelight, blueprint 5 mics, go get his rhyme like should have been sound.
On this track, we have like this cool kind of thing with Mos Def coming in with this motif of 2 words. And he seems to he couples almost everything like 2 words, Mos Def, this, that, this. And he really holds down this whole thing, and he keeps it the whole way through. Hard-hitting couplets of insanity. I was really like, whoa. But then Kanye seems to come in, and he starts off like he's going to hold down that same motif and gives up really quick and just doesn't do the 2 words thing. Like it's when he came like to this. I got 2 words for you, fuck you, pay me. And I'm like, dude, that's 4 words.
I think it's fuck you, pay me.
That's still 4 words.
It's still 2 and 2.
But
It's
it's still
still
4
4.
words. It's a 4-word
I'm
sentence.
just
Fuck
saying.
you, pay me. It's not
And
fuck
then-
you.
It could be a period.
Freeway was pretty good too, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, next to Mos Def, both Kanye and Freeway sounded a little weak. Because like Mos Def came in like he does. Like this like he's a fucking genius. Like he really just spits the most prolific lyrics. And then Kanye kinda comes in and he does hold it down in Freeway. I'm not saying that they're bad. It was just the fact that Mos Def set my expectations with these 2-word punchlines the whole way through, where he more or less holds it down, it was a little disappointing because it kind of killed the main motif of this song. The video's cool because it's like kind of black and white racism-y type stuff, grimy camera work, and then it cuts
Well,
to
it talks
each
all
of the
about like
different
the struggles
rappers.
and stuff that are happening in America right now.
Yeah,
I say
yeah.
right now, but like at that time.
So right now and at that time and before that time.
Yeah.
And it's really much about where they are at, their realities, their kind of stuff going on. So you got New York, I think most stuff is New York. Freeway is Philly, if I'm not mistaken. And then Kanye does the Chicago stuff, just kind of showing all around. It's the same kind of business.
Yep.
I love the energy on this track. I love the passion and the skill displayed on this track. That beat is really good. I gave this a 4.5 on 5. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty fucking intense of a track. Like, I like the serious social political stuff. I like the fact that Kanye was so into it. Like, it wasn't just one track on this album. This is multiple tracks where he's dealing with issues like racism and social political injustice, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I give this one a 4 on 5. I thought it was like a good song, but for me it wasn't my favorite. Like, just that's it.
I gave this song a 4.5 on 5. I thought it was really brilliant how each and everybody represents their own city, their own hood.
Yeah.
You forget about the choir. And the choir came on the song at the end of it, and it just fucking exploded and made
That's
it a
true.
whole next level of beauty. So it's the boys' choir at Harlem.
But
at
I
the
do
time.
admit that Mos Def did kind of run half the show on this track. He did it super well. I'm not saying that Freeway didn't. I'm not saying that Kanye didn't. But just standing up to Mos Def, I was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, and then the choir explodes at the end, and it's just beautiful. And that's the kind of thing where I think Kanye really excels on the producer end of it, right? Something to remember is that whereas a lot of rappers are just the rapper and they work with producers, Kanye is a producer. He just makes these tracks too and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the way he was able to grab these different elements and make it all feel, it was really beautiful.
Yep. Let's
Anyway.
check out Through the Wire.
Wizard. How do you console my mom? Or give her light support, telling her son's on.
I was kind of feel like he sounds a bit like Fiddy on this one.
A little bit, but I
A little
also
bit
felt
like
like he was a
50.
little more smooth on this one as well.
And like, okay, let's talk about the story. So the original
He was in
version
a
of the
car
song,
crash.
He actually recorded it while his mouth was wired down.
It was 6 weeks later, and he was his wire his jaw was like completely like
Wired
misplaced
shut,
and like
and
I don't know,
then
all
he
over the
spit
place.
track. So when he re-recorded it, he was trying to go for that feel again. So it's supposed
But you
to
can still
sound like-
kind of hear like that he can't maybe like open his mouth properly, and like
Right.
when he talks about having moose for breakfast and then having ensure for dessert. So it's
Yeah.
like he's obviously
Well,
on like a liquid diet
so-
because he can't eat.
I don't
you know.
think though that this particular recording was done with a wired closed
No,
mouth.
this is why.
No, I know, but what I saw in the notes was online was that he re-recorded the song for this album after the fact. The original version was recorded like that, and then he re-recorded it when he was doing the College Dropout. Because, and I may be wrong, but
But I feel like that was the whole point, was that he wanted everybody to feel how he was like,
yeah, I feel
like through everything,
so
like
feel
it was a
he
life or death
recorded it all,
situation.
replicating that impact that he originally had on the song, but clearer, so you could actually understand what he was saying, as opposed to
Maybe.
it actually being wired shut, where maybe it was that. Anyway, that's what I read up when I looked into it, because I thought it was an interesting story. Either way, I like how this song kind of addresses the accident and how it changed his perception on things, how he was given this gift when he was supposed to die, and as a result he realized he has to stop rapping about the gangster style, because he used to be more of a typical gangster rapper type, and it kind of marks this transition into him more of a positive figure, a more spiritual person, and he's just really appreciative, and you just see him like he's been given this second chance at life, and he wants to make the most of it, and he can't even wait for his mouth to get recovered. He's got so much on his fucking chest to get off, and it might not be what you're used to from me, but it's really me, and I'm back, and this is my new self, and
Very
it's really
honest in this
cool.
one.
Yeah.
Very honest. A lot of personal feels were coming out of this one. You know what? I'm not going to pick sides on if he really got it with his wire or not. That's what I want the viewers to let me know. If you guys know, did he spit this track with his draw wire?
Pretty
did he
sure he
spit
did.
it, try to imitate it after? Either way, if he is imitating, great job on the man. You can really hear the effort he's trying to make to feel the brokenness and the shatteredness and inside of him. If he's not joking, still brave, man, for doing that.
I'm
and
not denying that he didn't record a version of the song where it was recorded.
And like the
through
music
wire.
video was basically just showing his like progress and like where
Yeah.
he's at and like
Yeah.
him in the hospital and him with like the jaw, you know,
Yeah.
and everything.
and it was cute because it was like photos on a bulletin
Again,
board, and they were
just
going.
to be clear, I know there is the original version where he did record it through the wire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not denying that. I'm saying that for the College Dropout version, that's polished, produced, and redone years after the fact. Anyway.
So I don't know, for like he's just trying to say that like like he's not gonna die that easily. Like he's not gonna give up and like I mean obviously if you're in a
it's
car
also-
car crash of some sort. It's like not really up to you, but for him, he's like, I wasn't gonna die. Like I was gonna, I'm still here. I still have stuff to tell you. I still have so many ideas, and like, he's got a reason to live, and he just wants to make sure that
He's going to make the most of it. What I really
Yeah.
think is that his perspective is shifted, and that he wants to let you know he's a different person as a result of this as well, etc. I don't know. I thought it was really nice. It was really
still has a
great.
lot to say.
Another 4.5 for me. It was really strong.
I like this one. It was honest and real. I gave it a 4 on 5.
Yeah, I landed on a 4 and 5 for me. Just not something I'm gonna go back to multiple times, really.
It's fair.
So yeah, the next one is Family Business. Googled it and it said re-recorded a year after his car accident. I don't know if that's true or not. That was for Through the Wire if you just popped in. This Family Business song is super fucking sweet. It touches on a few things like how
Family matters more than fame.
when families ride or die. Like if you're in jail, I'm gonna ask you if you did it, you did it, or you did it. Like I'm not gonna tell anyone, I'm not gonna snitch on you. We cool, we family. And then he talks about his grandma and stuff, and like the childhood and
Well,
embarrassment.
they tell funny stories about like how we used to pee the bed and like stuff like that. So
And you just kind of went on, and I don't know, man. It was fun. It was like, it's like after all of his hard stuff, all this serious things that he's been through, just this moment of family, like of just enjoying like family dinners and celebrating and remembering where he comes from and his roots and showing
in terms
that.
of being a college dropout and dealing with life and growing up and everything, I mean, there is some times where we kind of forget that our family is our family and that we have those people to fall back on. We have them to be there.
Well, some of us do.
Yes, of
it
course.
sounds kind of, from what I read, it was Terry Torres. Actual family like dynamic that was happening because like apparently there was like it was a huge family and like she had people that were in jail in her family and it was just stuff like that. It was sort of like his view on that. I was understanding.
And then there's all the kids and stuff, and the fact that they had like 6 kids in a bed and like
Yeah,
sharing baths
he was
and
kind of
stuff.
like explaining a story that he understood.
No, I had read somewhere that it wasn't necessarily entirely his story, and parts of it were him, parts of it were shared perspectives and stuff.
Yeah.
Either way, it was just sweet, and it just gave you this feeling of kind of
like a normal
childhood
family.
and whatnot, and it was such a nice thing to see in the middle of this album. So for me, I was left with this on a 4.5. I don't have a lot more to add. It's still got great production. It's a really great place thing at the end, right? Like we've gone through all this serious stuff, and you almost feel like he's kind of survived at this point. Like he's gotten through a lot of things. He's building up his world. Things are gonna be okay, and he's just able to stop and share this great moment with Grandma making
And
fun
like
of him
to
and stuff.
appreciate like the family that's there for you.
Yeah, it was
Fair
nice.
enough. Fair enough. You?
I gave it a 4 on 5. For me, I just thought it was cute. I liked like the funny stories like that he was like kind of telling and stuff like that, and that when Grandma makes dinner, it's gonna be good, and like it's just
And then there's
it was
that
just
one
nice.
aunt whose food nobody wants. And
Yeah.
you have to stay there. There's cockroaches and it sucks. Yeah, this song was cute.
Yeah.
4 out of 5. Not much to really add to it.
All right, last call.
Who's ready for Jay-Z's giggle?
So get your ass up off the wall. Now it's Kanye the most overlooked.
So Jay-Z giggles, and then it's like, fuck you, Kanye, I can't believe you're making me do this. Fuck. Anyway, it was cute. Like, you just feel how much Jay-Z's appreciation for Kanye is there. And then Kanye lays out appreciation for Jay-Z and Rockefeller in general.
Yeah.
Okay, the
Well,
short,
also because Capitol Records turned him down.
the short version of this song is the
It's
story
a
of
12-minute
Kanye.
conversation.
No. It's got 3 verses and a whole chorus. Like, this is the last call for alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
got
but there's
that.
also a lot of talking,
That's
like just
the
talking.
other 7 minutes or so. So it starts off with like this song, and he really goes into verses describing his like life story, right? And really is kind of, but more as a rapper, more his struggle, more kind of like nobody believed in him.
Well,
and
the
stuff.
struggle from going from producer to rapper.
Then he just goes and tells us like a fucking 7-minute story, 10-minute story of everything, like. And then like we were wearing these kinds of shoes back then, and and I was ready to pick up my outfits, and then I got the phone call, and I was standing like he literally, and it's just everything about how he went from the moment where Jay-Z like first found his beats and him being a producer to his struggles with Capitol Records to like honestly, it made me respect and appreciate Kanye West completely differently. It was like, wow, that guy really put in the work to get to where his arrogance is at, and I don't think it was on this song, but one of the songs specifically addresses the fact that he is arrogant because it's the only way he could deal with how the industry played him. It may have been this song.
But wasn't he on tour and he was opening for Usher?
He was opening for somebody, I know.
I think that's who it was.
But like at the end of the day, yes, he's built up that thing after producing and all of this, and this is just like his celebration. Like when he's done, he's finally finished it, and he just wanted to share his story with everyone and tell everyone what he actually had to go through to get this album out in explicit fucking detail. And it made me feel two things. One, holy shit, that's 13 minutes of my life that disappeared for this song.
Yeah.
It's one song. The other hand is thank you, because I kind of wish I'd hear more artists do something like this. I want to hear more of this behind the scenes type of shit, and this is really like that interview behind the scenes, how Kanye West's story kind of was told from Kanye on his album at the end, kind of like, you don't have to listen to this, you can turn the record off if you really wanted to. And he goes in, and I like what he's like, and then Jay-Z said this, and below it you heard Jay-Z saying this thing, like it was in, and then this guy said this, and you heard them saying it, and my mom said, okay, Kanye, let's go now. And it was amazing. It was an amazing experience, but I gave this a 4 because it's 13 fucking minutes long, and it's one hell of a, like, it's not necessarily a song, but it is one of the most interesting and fascinating outros I've ever encountered in my life. It's very fitting for this album, but it's a 4 because it's fucking long.
Yeah, this is a 3 for me. It is interesting. It is sort of like a monologue that he's just kind of like telling to you, but it is as well, like, like Jay-Z is still around. Like, I'm not really sure how it's working, but like they're both it's sort of like a conversation / a monologue. So it's interesting. It's just like how he's telling you his story and like how he got to this point and the struggles that he had, and how he wasn't getting like the deals that maybe he wanted and stuff like that, and so he went back to like Rockefeller and
one thing I want to point out about his story is there's like 5 or 6 moments where things were supposed to work out and fell apart, but he just kept going. He's like the little train that could, and I respect Kanye a lot for what he had to deal with to go through it. Anyway, go on, Chris.
Fair enough. Oh no, it was a really long song. I appreciate it. I understand him. I get it why he did it. He does have a lot to say. He is a fucking genius, but 13 minutes of my life. I guess
it's him having the chance to like tell his story, and not like somebody else.
Fair enough.
I love what he did. I think it would be cool to see more people do that.
I give it a 4 out of
5. For this album, I did something I've never done before on the channel. I ignored my average of grades and I bumped it right the fuck up. So some of these skits and shit, like this album works as a package. And if I look at it like an album, like as a piece of art, it's truly what it is. It's one of the most well thought out albums we've covered. One of the most well thought out albums we've encountered. Now maybe my preference doesn't have me liking everything, but I give this a 4.7. It's not the best album we've encountered, but this is such a rare, truly divine package of music put together on an album. The messaging's on point. Like, there's very little that's wasted here in terms of this album. Kanye's sense of humor is great, honestly, at least at this point. Like, I think everyone should listen to the College Dropout because it could help you become a better artist to just try to see it. And I think that if more people took at least what he had to say here seriously, they could see how the world ended up where it is today. And it's weird how almost prophetic this album was 12 years later. How 12 years later, 13 years later even, it fits like it came out today. Now you tell me that's not a motherfucking classic when 13 years later it could have been released today.
Fair enough, dude.
Wow.
I gave this album a 4.6. I think that it goes over the classic
I
mark.
had to give it more than that because I felt it was better than Yellow Wolf's album, and I was like, I had to give it better than Yellow Wolf's album.
Fair enough. I think that the album itself is still holding against the test of time. I think that if we were to review this in like 10 years as a request on this channel again, I think that we would still have maybe more to say in terms of our knowledge, but it would still hold what the album is holding. So it's great.
And you?
Nice. Well, I mean, I stuck with my grade. I gave it was overall, like, the average grading for me was 3.83, which isn't, like, a classic. But for me, it, like, it wasn't, like, a whole package thing. Like, there were parts that I was like, you can kind of skip over that, and it's not, like, a big deal. Like, you're not going to lose out on it.
Kanye's work your plan.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, no, like, not even that one. Like, just, like, there are things that you should, there are songs that you should listen to, and you're like, wow, that's really good. Like, that's a hit. Like, that has a lot of meaning, you know. And, like, you should check out this album, but, like, maybe pick out the songs that you like.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. For all of you making requests, we take them seriously, but with one album a week of classic rap or older rap or not being released this week rap, it will take a fuck ton of time to get to some of them. So subscribe to the channel if you want to see us grow. Share it with your friends. Help us get some love. And the more bigger we can get, the more reviews we can get out to you.
Yeah.
So on that note...
Happy Halloween, by the way.
Yeah, because it should be Halloween when this comes out. We are in the costume of people who don't dress up. And please let us know what you dressed up for in the comments below. Feel free to send us a picture. Lindell, I'd love to know what your costume is. And yeah, if just, you know, let us interact with us. We're people too.
We're people too.
I'm really tired, folks. Have a great night.
Okay, Holden, goodbye. It's Classic Quest over.